Good evening. Welcome to the January 26, 2021 regular Selectmen's meeting. I'll call the roll. It looks like we have all Selectmen present. The town manager, the town clerk, the town planner, and we have our new recreation director in the waiting room waiting for us. So please stand with me and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I like how get the delay reaction there. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. We have our approval of our January 12th minutes.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. It's Ed,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Noah,
Yes.
and Ken,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. Thank you, everybody. Our first public comment, we have no public comment that I know of, as I haven't been given any emails or anything. We have no public hearings tonight. Is anything from the Envision Berwick, James, or not?
We have Jeremy that's going to be in a little bit for his appointment. I'll let him talk about what we got going on. There's a ton of volunteer interest.
Good.
It's some of the largest interest I've seen. And actually, here's Jeremy right here. I've actually sprung this on him as a report.
Here he is.
So Jeremy's really embraced his role, kind of taking the reins as Envision Berwick chair. He's asked a ton of good questions, and it's gonna be cool to see what he does with Envision Berwick, and it's gonna be a lot of fun being the staff to that committee.
All right, we'll hear from Jeremy during our appointments segment. We have no department reports tonight. And that will get us right into the appointments. First on the appointments is we have the planning board. We have first we have Jerry Graybill, who is an alternate, and he wants to move up to a regular position. And then we'll have 2 alternate openings and 1 interim regular opening. And we'll explain that first. So why don't we go with moving Jerry up to the full membership first? Is Jerry with us?
He's not
No.
here. Yeah, I
No, he recently became involved in the planning board. I believe at James prodding. He was attended several of the meetings in this past year, with concerns about some of the things that were going on, and he offered to step up. He's been an alternate for a few months, but we have the opening, and as our regular practice is an alternate would be moved into the regular position. So, do we have a motion to move Jerry Graybill from a alternate to a regular member of the Berwick Planning Board with a term to expire December 31st of 2023?
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. Ed?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. That's right, 5-0. All right, so then that leaves us, we have an interim spot to fill and 2 alternate spots to fill. And the interim position would be for filling in for Dave. He has been injured and not able to fulfill his term right now. He had a pretty serious accident at home, I guess, and he's on the slow recovery, so as of now, he is not going to be able to fulfill that position. We have 3 volunteers that asked to be on the planning board. We have Amber Fecteau, Allison Herlihy, and Philip Roy. Is what I think we should probably do is go down through and let them all introduce themselves. The interim position would be for a position that expires on December 31st, 2023. And the 2 alternates, well, I guess all 3 of them would be on December 31st. So, I understand Amber was the first to volunteer, James?
Yep, she was the first one, yep.
All right. Amber, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you would like to be on the planning board?
So I'm a resident of Berwick. I have been for about 20 years now. I have one daughter that's in the school system and then another that will be in the fall. And I've just been looking for a way to get involved with the town and kind of help out as much as I can. I do have a full-time job. I work at Portsmouth Maple Shipyard, but I'm currently teleworking and just looking for something else as well.
Do any of the board members have questions for Amber? No, there's nothing so far. I have a couple questions, Amber. First is just to get everybody straight. Your name is Amber Fecteau. Are you related to Nicole at all?
I'm not related to Nicole.
Yeah, I remember asking Nicole several years back if she had any relatives in the area, and she said no. So I was kind of surprised to see your last name pop up like that. But I'll ask you: would it matter to you whether it was an interim full position or alternate position?
It doesn't matter to me. I'm happy to help in any capacity that's needed.
All right. If there are no further questions of Amber, I'll go to Allison. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Not bad. Just give us a little bit of your background and what gets you interested involved.
I'm new to Berwick. I've been here for about a year.
What's the matter? What's going on? I'm in a Zoom meeting.
Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Allison, are you still there?
Can you guys still hear me? Okay.
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 Yeah.
So I've been a resident for about a year, and I'm actually going to be a business owner at the Edge. We're opening a family butchery there when they open. Because of that, obviously, I'm super interested in, transparency regarding every development we make to Berwick with our community. I want it to be transparent and open, and I know it's going to benefit everybody what we're doing. That's the goal. And my goal is to really bridge as much as I can between, the citizens of Berwick and what's going on in the town. I do run one of the mom Facebook pages, so I have about a few hundred connections with the mothers in Berwick that are always telling me what they're looking for. Yes. And what they're interested in for the town. I'm an agent with Keller Williams, so I do have, enough free time to juggle this, and I'm definitely interested in the position to stay on. I would love to see another lady up on that planning board.
I'll ask you the same as I asked Amber, would it matter to you whether you were a full-time interim member or a volunteer, an alternate?
I mean, I'd love to be full-time. Like I said, I would love to see another woman up on the planning board. You know, I think that's great for it to be a permanent thing. So yeah, I would love to be full-time.
Do any of the other selectmen have questions for Allison? If not, I'll go to Phil.
Thank you.
Hey Phil, how are you?
I'm well. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Fill us in a little bit about your background and why you'd like to be on the planning board.
I hail originally from Auburn, Maine. I was born and raised up there. Left kicking and screaming at 18 to join the Coast Guard. Traveled around the world for 24 years. Had a great time serving my country as a diver and a medic. My last tour of duty brought me up to Cape Cod and closer to home, closest I had the opportunity to be to home in 20 some odd years. And when I retired, I moved back up here to the Berwick area, took a job at the shipyard, continuing to do a job that I love, and really settled into the town of Berwick. I've gotten to know a lot of people and really enjoy the small town atmosphere that Berwick has to offer. And I've always had a strong sense of service and would like to give back to the community that gives my family and I so much, and would be happy to serve in any capacity that is available.
Okay. Does anybody have questions for Phil? No. We have one interim and two alternates. Anybody have a suggestion on how to split it up?
Just off my top of my head, I think that just based on the order in which they volunteered and also just gauging general interest, I think that Amber should be the interim member, and Allison and Phil should be the alternate members, and proceed from there. And the alternate members do become full-time members later if once a seat opens up. They promote up. It's more just like a stepping stone. You still go to all the meetings, and I was an an alternate member, and it was a lot of fun. So that would be my suggestion.
Any other comments from the board?
I do have a question. You said the terms would expire December 31st of 23?
2023, yes.
2023. The two alternates are listed for a 3-year term. So does that match?
That would be 24.
Patty, could you answer that?
Yeah, if I can unmute. Yeah, so it's December 2020 for 3 years. So 2020 to 21 to 22 to 23.
Okay, so they're picking
So it
up.
would be December 2023.
They're picking up from the end of December, from December of
Yeah.
last year. Okay.
Not from the date of appointment, it's from the
No.
term.
No.
Okay. So,
Thanks for making it clear.
You're welcome.
The tricky part is we just don't know when or if Dave is coming back to the board. He's more than welcome, obviously, to come back to the board. We want him back, but there's no rush for him. So it's just an indefinite period where the interim is filling a regular voting member spot. Typically, there's an alternate member. Typically, at least one alternate member is voting per meeting. Sometimes there's 4 regular members. That means one alternate becomes a voting member. So Phil, I think you're the closest to Dave, right? It might be the most appropriate that you fill in for Dave, and then, Dave he's been on the planning board for 9 years. So at some point he's earned his planning board retirement, but we're not kicking him off by any means. So I just throw that out there. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Sorry, I just have one question.
Yep.
If you don't mind, in what way, I'm just confused, in what way do you mean he's the most similar to who he's filling in for?
No, he's the most familiar with Dave, personally.
So, is, any of the other, go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, so Amber and Allison and Phil, I know you've all chosen to volunteer, and I'm certainly appreciative of that. I'm sure as every other member of the board is as well. Amber and Allison, you both have mentioned, I believe, that you're willing to serve in the interim position. Is there any battle between who feels that they should be more qualified to serve in that position? And I'll throw you out there as well, Phil.
I mean, honestly, for me, just because we are opening that market this year, it's incredibly important to me how that's handled with the town. Not only am I a resident of Berwick, so it impacts me double fold how businesses, emerge in our new village. But it's also important like how it's handled with the community. So, I mean, I've been a manager for years. I'm a mom myself in the town, and I have a lot of connections to the town with that page that we're always talking on. So I don't know. I know like it was a first come, first serve, and I would love to serve in any way that I can. But I just found out about this position, and the second I did, you'll hear how like tenacious I was about trying to get it. I'm definitely not shy about saying that I do want to be in the permanent spot.
Where are you opening the market, Allison?
At the Edge, the new development, the Edge.
What, a small grocery store market?
Yeah, we're doing a butchery and market.
Oh,
You
great,
know,
great.
Yeah, gonna be walking distance from my house, so.
Good, that's good.
Yeah.
Allison, to your point, the only difference here is that the interim member will be full-time voting member until and unless Dave returns. And when he returns, the interim member would be stepping down from that position, and the alternate members would be full-time members serving their own full term, but they would not be regular voting members unless other members of the board were not present. But even as an alternate member, you still have full input in the board, but just depending on the meeting and who shows up and who's available, you may or may not be voting on specific issues.
Okay, well, yeah, I totally understand, but, they're asking, so I'm answering.
I just want to make sure that we're clear. I understand it is confusing interim and alternate, and it's a whole new situation, but the real only difference here is that interim is quasi-temporary, assuming that Dave comes back. If Dave does not come back, then the interim member would fulfill his term and then have to be reappointed in 3 years. So, but if he comes back in 6 months, then that's when that interim position would end.
Okay.
And the alternate position is a full 3-year term.
Okay, I hear what you're saying.
This is Phil. I just wanted to say, I'm happy to fill any role that's available. For me, it's not about me. It's about the board. It's about serving the local community. I bring a lot to the fight. As a program manager for the entire Coast Guard dive program for towards the end of my career. I've worked extensively in and out of the federal government. I don't have a lot of local government experience, but however you guys are willing to exploit my talent, I'm willing to serve, and whatever role you decide is a good fit, I'm willing to fulfill that role. So I don't have hard feelings one way or the other.
I'll just throw something in here. Just the way that Patty gave me the paperwork is the way it came out. Is the way we have it listed out is Allison would be listed as the interim member, and then Amber and Phil would be alternate members. Is there any problem with that? Does anybody have any problem with that?
That's perfectly fine with me. I'm okay with either one.
So, All right. Is, I'm looking for a motion to appoint Allison as the interim member with a term to expire December 31st in 2023. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a
Or
s-
when Dave Andreessen returns, right?
Right. Yeah,
Yes. Just want to make sure that's clear and on the record.
all right. We have a motion, we have a second. Noah, did you second that?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? As I'll go through the roll, is Ed,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Noah,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
and myself is yes. Congratulations, Allison. All right, now, we need a motion to appoint Amber Fecteau as an alternate member to the planning board, term to expire December 31st, 2023. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. With no further discussion, I'll go through the roll. Is Ed,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Noah,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we need a motion for Philip Roy to be appointed as an alternate member of the planning board with a term to expire December 31st, 2023.
So
So
moved.
moved.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second. I'll go through the roll. Is Ed,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Noah,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. Congratulations, you three, and thank you for stepping forward. Is
Thank you
For the
very much.
opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Thank
opportunity.
you.
yeah, no, it's
Allison, can I ask you one more question?
Yep.
How are the people that own the edge to deal with?
Oh my gosh, phenomenal. I love them.
So they were really helpful for you to get working something
yeah.
out, huh?
Oh yeah, they are
Good.
like super supportive of local business owners and mom and pop shops. They gave us a chance like right off the bat when we gave them our business plan, and I really like that company. I like that group a lot.
Good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
thank you.
I'll be in touch, guys.
See you,
All right.
James.
So that leaves us with an appointment to the Recreation Commission. Is Michelle Lino, is she on?
She was in and out of the waiting room. I think she probably thought she wasn't going to get let in.
Yeah, she just emailed me that she could get no answer, so she said she'd stop by tomorrow. Angela, I don't know if you've spoken to her in person and you could maybe fill in the board.
No, the only thing that I got was an email from her in regards to her wanting to step in. She did attend our meeting, our rec commission meeting last week, and just briefly put in pretty much the same thing that she put in her email, that she wants to come in and help out, and Shirley wants to help with online gaming to see if we can get that into play. And I've already contacted a company today and talked to somebody about that. So hopefully she can, if she does come on board, that will be something that she can help kind of navigate.
Is Angela, how many openings are there on the Recreation Commission?
There's 2, right, Patty?
I believe so.
So-
2 full regular memberships, and then you can have an alternate or 2 also, correct?
So you have several positions open.
Yes, we do.
You know, typically we have the people come in and introduce themselves. Is I know that there's been, you know, we'll be hearing later on from Angela a little bit more about the recreation department. I know that there's a lot of new things being talked about. As I don't know, do you guys really, are you going to insist on having Michelle come in? Or do you want to, you know, throw the dice and appoint her and see what she's like?
Let's see what she's like.
Any other people?
She's volunteering. That's fine.
Yeah. As far as I know, Noah, nobody else has volunteered yet, so is, I don't have a problem, if she's already attended a meeting and had some input, it shows that she's interested and willing to put herself out there, I'll make a motion to appoint Michelle Lino, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, as a member of the Berwick Recreation Commission for a term to expire on December 31st, 2023. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. Ed?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
And myself is yes. And next we have Jeremy Caston as a full member of the Berwick Vision Committee with a term to expire December 31st, 2022. I'll let Jeremy in and let him talk.
Yes.
Hey Jeremy, how you doing?
Hi, everybody.
Is
Just to give you is this the time that I give a brief introduction to myself?
Yep.
Go right ahead.
Don't know me. I grew up in Baltimore. First moved to New England for college. Didn't love Boston, but fell in love with Maine. And since I was a small child, had a dream of making movies. Pursued that on the West Coast in Los Angeles. Made some movies, and that was amazing, but also not, as it turned out, a great way to support a family. And so I found myself working in reality TV, which I do not like at all, and at the same time developed an interest in food systems and started caring about how I was going to feed those children and worrying about animals treated cruelly in CAFOs and horrible situations that don't let them be animals. And so met my wife, and as we started our family, we're like, we get the hell out of here. I want my kids to climb trees and grow up around chickens, and I don't want to sit at a computer for 14 hours anymore a day, 6 days a week. So started looking around and found a school in Harpswell, Maine, which is really in a dude's house who is like a amazing, charismatic, old-timer Mainer who knows how to do everything himself. And, I knew how to use a computer, and in the 9 months we lived with him, with my 1-year-old and 3-year-old, 2 cats and wife, I learned how to, split wood and slaughter chickens and be normal. And we fell in love with Berwick when we started looking around and found, basically the dream farm for us was this insane property that abuts your property, Mark. With an amazing and very eccentric woman who had this property for about 25 years and fell in love with it and fell in love with Berwick in every way. It was we could have landed anywhere. We looked at New Orleans and we looked at Thailand, and we decided on Berwick, and we've never looked back. We think that every day is could not be more perfect. Our children are having, even in the pandemic, our children are having an incredible experience and a great experience here. They're out in the woods making fires and climbing trees and getting eggs from the chickens and milking goats and what children are supposed to do. So that's the kind of broad sweeping perspective. Additionally, I was I lived in downtown Los Angeles as that became gentrified, and it had basically sat encased in amber since World War II, and then when the hipsters moved in the aughts, there was a lot of work to be done to both protect the people who had been there for a very long time, which was, a population of people who were going to get booted because of gentrification, and also balancing that with gentrification, right? Money and all of that. And it gave me a unique perspective being part of that and seeing a place change very rapidly, in some ways for good and in some ways not at all. But I was vocal about it because I was young and didn't know better. And now I'm seeing Berwick potentially change for good, and I want to be part of that good. I want to see it retain what brought us here. We love so much of its character that is endemic to it. We also don't want to see it as the suburbs come in and people escape Boston and New York for places where they can work remotely. We don't want to see that character change. We want to retain that. So all of that interests me deeply. And I have a background in marketing. I work for the movie studios marketing their movies. And I hope I am able to bring some of that experience to bear in protecting the things that we love about Berwick. I don't know if I said that well, but that's the big picture summation.
I mean, what you're doing, what Jeremy and I have been working on is fairly, comprehensive. It's the marketing, it's protecting the farmland, it's developing our downtown, it's branding, it's all that into one. And I think it's going to be a blast just working with Jeremy, working with the broader community, our new planning board members, the select board, and our town administration to make just all the cool stuff we've been doing to keep it going. Angela too.
So, do any of the
The great thing is that I'm enthusiastic and have a lot of energy. I don't always, I don't have the best working knowledge of local government and small town government, but that's all stuff I'm excited to endeavor to learn and work hard at.
Does the board have any questions of Jeremy?
I have one. How old are you?
You can't ask that question.
Well, I'm just curious because it sounds like you have the experience of someone who might be 50, but the energy of someone who might be 21. So I'm just curious.
I'll be 50 in March, but
Good guess there, Noah.
boy, I wish I had a good answer. There's so many good jokes. Like, I have my superpower is that I'm not that smart, but I'm enthusiastic and have a lot of energy.
You seem like the most interesting man in the world right now. So
That's so no.
I love the enthusiasm. I think the experience you talked about is great and very insightful, and seems like you certainly have a general idea of what we're trying to accomplish, which is to improve the downtown but keep the character of Berwick intact. And I certainly would have. I think you would be a very big benefit to the team, bring a fresh perspective to it.
Thanks.
Is that a motion to nominate?
Absolutely.
I'll second it.
I have a second. Any other questions for Jeremy? I just have to, I'll put this in. I've worked with Jeremy a little bit with the Envision Committee over the last couple of years, and he does bring a real enthusiasm to the table. He's produced several videos for Berwick, different aspects of Berwick. I can't remember what the names of them were.
Berwick stories.
Berwick stories. Of course. He brings a lot of enthusiasm, and I'm really appreciative of him, wanting to continue this. So, Is, if there's nothing else, I'll go through the roll. Is Ed,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes,
Noah,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
and myself is yes. Congratulations, Jeremy.
Thanks, guys. I'm very excited.
Thank
we
you.
are too.
Coming.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on. There's,
Sign off.
we have nothing under unfinished business. There's town manager report.
I'm still chasing Mr. Kahaya and his attorney to get the Blue Sort building squared away. And I pushed a little harder today. We may end up doing something that we had in the contract, original contract, where we could push the closing ourselves. And so I hope I don't have to do that. I'd just like to get it over with because there's a lot of interest in that building. And hopefully that happens soon.
Steve, I think it'd be a great idea if you moved ahead with that. You know, we put up with his crap for many years, and I think it's time to move on.
Okay.
Yeah, wash our hands of it.
I'll talk to the attorneys tomorrow.
Please.
And get it moving. We've finished up the credit enhancement agreement. We had a lot of back and forth on some things, language, but it's pretty well intact. Your next meeting, there'll be a public hearing for that and a vote to agree to the public credit enhancement agreement. I think there'll be a public hearing. We'll talk a little bit about it, but it's a really good proposal to keep incentive for helping the Edge and reinvesting money back into the property and giving us money to do projects in the downtown village, which James and I are already talking how we're going to spend the money, so I look forward to it. The bridge designs on Diamond Hill are pretty well completed. I talked with the engineers today. They had a lot of questions. And my comments to them is that we will not be doing anything the coming fiscal year because of the economics of it. I have to check with the DOT if they have their 50% match, but I will hopefully be looking at 2022 and 2023 fiscal year to do that project. And it will be a little bit expensive, but needs to be done before it collapses. We also, today, James and I got copies of the engineering plans for the Sawmill Hill and Route 9 intersection, and we'll be talking to them in a couple of weeks to give them our thoughts on it, and hopefully some of that is being done with CATS money, and state's paying some funds on that. So otherwise, everybody's been working on the budget, and I think I've finished up most of it today. The nice thing is I heard from Paul McKenna, that our assessor, and he informed me that as of last week, we had grown approximately 8 million in valuation, which is really amazing. But also it helps offset the taxes, and maybe he thinks we may have upwards of 2 to 3 more million by April 1st. So that will help with the tax rate. But the budget, I'll be talking to department heads about my recommendations, and you'll have your first introduction to the budget at your next meeting. And I'll get you your budget books by the first of the week, next week. So if you have any questions, I've got a summary of a report with it, and be a lot of information. It's looks pretty good, I think. But
Are we getting physical books or are we getting them by email?
we usually give them out by books, by notebooks. I think there's quite a bit of documents in it. You'd probably be better off to just come and pick them up when they're ready. And Lisa Vargas will let you know, or Lisa Eustis. They put them together in the finance office. There'll be good discussions. And also, I just want to say Sharon Kelly, our librarian, is back at work on a part-time basis. She caught COVID, and but she got through it, thank goodness, and she's healthy, and we're all excited about that. So that's all I have. Any questions?
Any questions of Steve? If not, we'll move on. I had no communications, as I'll go to approval of warrants. We have a payroll warrant number 44 for January 21st, 2021, for the amount of $69,608.82. We have a payroll warrant 45 for January 21st, 2021, for the amount of $1,059.75. We have a payroll warrant 46 for January 28th, 2021, for the amount of $69,850.22. And we have an account payable warrant 47 for January 26th, 2021, for the amount of $142,257.96. As I'll make a motion to pay the bills. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. Is Ed? Ed, you there?
Yes.
Wait.
Sorry.
Mark?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
And myself is yes. All right. Goes to new business and the introduction of Angela O'Connor as our new recreation director.
Can I say something before she talks? I just want the public to know that when we advertised this position, we had over 60 applicants. 60 people looking for that job. Some of them didn't have the qualifications, but quite a few did. And we were able to offer it to Angela. And the staff and I are extremely excited to have her on board. She comes with a great background, a lot of experience, and she's excited by all this energy that she finds in Berwick. So on that note, I'll hand it back to Tom. But
Angela, how are you doing?
Good. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
If you would, give us a little bit of your background.
My background is I grew up actually in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. I came up here to go to school at USM, ended up in Denver to start my park and recreation experience right after college, and ended up coming back to Maine to work in Kennebunkport. And then after being in Kennebunkport for 15 plus years, I ended up in Needham, Massachusetts, where I was just recently there for the last 2.5 years as the assistant director and helping open up a brand new recreation facility that housed 2 outdoor swimming pools and a recreation complex. The experience down there was fantastic. I've always had a passion for parks and recreation. I've been in it all my life. I started working at the Boys and Girls Club in Pittsfield, ended up working at the Boys and Club in Portland while I was in college. Actually haven't really ventured outside of that because it's just a big passion of mine. One of my biggest excitements for being here in Berwick is the energy that I am able to be around. James has been awesome to work with. Jeremy was another person that I met last week who is just full of energy, as you guys could tell. So I'm really looking forward to the growth and the development of this department as well as the entire town.
Did anybody on the board have any questions of Angela?
Steve mentioned that that you had some new ideas for the department, new things. I would love to hear about them. Especially, you had mentioned something about online video games as part of your recreation department.
Yeah, I actually just talked to a company today. It's called GG Gaming. There's actually a main league that's being housed right now with other recreation departments, Saco, Wells, York, just to name a few. I'm looking forward to possibly starting that up. Registrations will hopefully go out within the next month or so. It doesn't start up until April because the first session is already done and they started, I think, last week. So I'm looking forward to that. It's something that I really am not really familiar with, but this platform and this company pretty much is a vendor. So they help you, they set it all up, and you just get the kids, and it's for ages 8 to adult. So adults can play as well, and they have different age brackets. And if you don't have enough people in the registrations, they don't cancel it. They just add you to another team that's throughout Maine. So it's pretty interesting.
Yes.
And I'd like to definitely bring in-person programming back, COVID style. I hate to even say that, but it's what you have to do. I'm lucky enough to be able to have already experienced that down in Needham. We were able to open both our outdoor pools and our programs this past summer with a solid COVID plan in place. And I'm proud to say that we didn't have COVID at all that came through our summer programs or at our facility because we were able to make sure that we followed the guidelines that we needed to follow. So I'm looking forward to being able to make a makeshift and modified summer program this summer.
Sounds great.
And then James and I have also been dabbling in with looking at a master plan for our fields too. And we're really excited about that. Expanding some property and developing more on our athletic fields at Memorial Field. James, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about that.
It's been a project that's been towards the top of what I would call my priority list for Envision Berwick or Rec Master Plan. And it's just, especially the past 6 to 8 months, trying to look at the right consulting firm. And there's landscape architects, there's consultants, there's engineers, but the group that Angela found is just the perfect match. They do everything between existing conditions plans. They'll look at what our assets are, what our deficiencies are. They'll come up with a maintenance plan, capital improvements plan, and some concepts. So I think it's going to be a really exciting project to get the most out of Memorial Field.
Yeah, it's been really exciting to look at that because it's such a beautiful piece of land and it's such a huge asset to our town, and we want to make sure that we're keeping that up to par and making sure that we don't have to dump a lot of money into it in just 1 year, but at least if we can maintain it and make sure that, you know, we're putting the money away for every year to make sure that the whole community can use it. And with the foot traffic that's going to be involved with the new building and the village coming into place, there's going to be a lot more foot traffic coming and through the parks, and we really need to think about how we're going to maintain that as well.
Any other questions for Angela? Any comments?
Thank you for taking the position, Angela. You sound like you have a broad and diverse background with some excellent experience, which is really going to enhance the rec program at Berwick. So we're certainly grateful to have you on board. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ed. If you guys have any ideas or any questions or just suggestions, recommendations, don't hesitate to contact me, email me. My door is always open. As Mark knows, he came to visit me. So.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks a lot, Angela.
Yep, thank you.
Safe trip home.
Yeah. We'll move on. And actually, I probably should have done this before. We have a resignation letter from Natalie Gould from the Recreation Commission. Said, It's with regret that I am writing to inform you that I have chosen to resign from the Recreation Commission effective immediately. After serving the town and this board for over 9 years, I feel there are other places that I need to focus my attention. I feel it is time for someone else to fulfill these duties. I am proud of the programs, events, and recreational opportunities that the Recreation Commission has worked on over the years, and I have great hope that will be more successes in the future. Best regards, Natalie. Yeah, she's been there for 9 years. She knew the background, that's for sure. Is definitely going to miss the past knowledge in that. So that brings us to, we have a poll petition from CMP, Coffin Lane, which is off from Route 4, just up the road from Mark's place. And just looks like it's the typical poll permit. So if there are
I
any,
would move we accept the poll permit as it's presented.
do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Without further discussion, I'll go through the roll. Is Ed,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Noah,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. All right. That's that. Let's see. All right, proposed town hall hours. We have a change. If Patty, if you want to take the lead on this.
Sure, so, this would affect my office and, James's office. What we're working right now, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 to 4, Fridays, 8 to 12:30, and Tuesdays, 8 to 6. We're finding that we don't have time to cash out in the customer service area. That afternoon piece is so quick between when people get back from lunch and the 4 o'clock closing time. So we've encountered a lot of comp time for the staff staying late with customers and everything. So my proposal is to open to the public 8 to 5, Monday through Thursday. That gives staff an hour every day to cash out, to do reports, so we can have staff meetings, etc. It would be a total of 9 hours a day that we're open to the public. We, of course, would be here for, or 39 and a half minus lunch half hours. So, and it would be Monday through Thursday and closed on Friday. The rest of the building has schedules where they're either working from home on Fridays or they've done their hours Monday through Thursday.
Questions of Patty?
Patty, just one. I mean, what kind of activity do you normally see on a Friday?
It varies, Ed, depending on the time of year. Summer might be a little busier, especially with discount tickets. But I think our hours have always been confusing because they're never consistent every day. And this may help the residents where it's 8 to 5, Monday through Thursday. There's no like half days stuck in there. Yeah, it's, we're open 8 to 12:30 on Fridays right now. And it really varies week to week with the traffic flow.
I would imagine that probably a lot of your traffic is more towards the afternoon hours and people are getting off of work and things of that nature.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah,
guessing,
that's why we have that rush at 5 minutes before close that people are in here. And that causes a lot of overtime for my staff. So I have to work their schedule and send them home early on another day. So
And you feel, I'm sorry, go ahead.
having that hour at the end of the day will really help tremendously. Just, you know, to not have the customers in, to take the time to cash out. Sometimes they're counting a large amount of money and we're still open to the public. So this will be closed to the public when we do that. We've had times when residents are waiting for 20 minutes while we cash out. So this will eliminate that. Also gives us time to meet as a staff. It gives time for us to do our weekly reports without trying to juggle when the customers are here, get, you know, a third of it done, go help someone jump back to it.
About how much comp time have you been averaging per week, roughly?
It's been about a half an hour. So what happens is Friday we close at 12:30. We're here till 1:30. So they still have to cash out at 12:30, and most of the time I send them home at 1, that half hour early.
In my opinion, I personally don't have a problem with this. I think it would probably be a win-win for the residents as well as the staff working at the town hall. That's my opinion. So I'm not opposed to it, accepting the proposal provided by Patty.
Thank you. If the board agrees, I would like to put it into effect on February 22nd. That gives the 2-week notice to my union staff.
It'd be nice to have some sort of board in town, a sign that we can post the hours. If I ever get a complaint, it's about, well, they're not open all day Friday, or you know, that people just go down there thinking we're open 24/7. It'd just be nice to have a board down there where we can write it up, put it right up there.
Yeah, I agree. That would be nice. I don't know if the electronic sign made it through the budget, Steve.
We've talked about that for quite a bit since I've been here, and it's not so much the signage, it's where to put the sign has been the difficult part. We can certainly budget for it. It's not cheap.
No. Why would we just use one? We put letters in it. We change the sign ourselves with letters for now.
I mean, for the time being, I can use the sign that we used to use to announce meetings.
Right.
But again, that's at the end of the town hall ramp, so if you're not going one way down Sullivan, you're not gonna see it.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's something we really need to hammer down. Again, we've been discussing this for years.
Yep.
You know, and it's something that I think that will benefit every resident of this town. Obviously, if we keep hearing communication, the public doesn't know, and we're hearing that from the residents, and everybody drives by the town hall. If we find a good spot for that sign, there's no reason why somebody doesn't know the hours of the town hall. They don't know that there's a meeting or people are voting. I mean, obviously there's parking along that side of the street there. So when people are driving by, they're not paying attention to the little sign, the fold-out sign, which is, you know, posted at the corner. So I think a good visible sign which can convey information to the entire town as they drive by is going to be invaluable, not only for the residents, but for the town to be able to convey that information to them.
Right.
So we really need to put that on the agenda to hammer that down.
Okay, we'll
Whether it
move
be
forward
digital,
on it.
I'm not a big fan of LED digital stuff. I really like, you know, something that's going to be in keeping with our form-based code, or something that's going to be complementary to the aesthetic of the town, and not some big fancy digital blaring sign, in my opinion.
We had Neocraft come out several years ago and give us some proposals, and we just kind of couldn't decide the best spot for it, and at the time we just didn't want to spend the money. So, but I think we need to go back, like Ed said, and take a hard look at it. So when we come,
What about those fellas those people that put the sign on the fire department and the police department, Steve? They were out of Rochester?
yeah,
They put
I
the
don't
letters
know.
up?
I'll look into it. I don't know. I've seen some signage companies for some reason lately on the roads.
They did a nice job on the fire department, I thought, and the police department. They did it last fall.
Yep, they did.
Patty, on the hours is, is, the only question I have is that I do get people who like having it open to 6 o'clock on one night, you know, because a lot of people do get out of work at 5. So is, that's the only thing I would see, you know, is I don't have a problem with trying this and seeing, you know, is obviously we've changed it enough in the last year that we're getting used to it. Is sooner or later we might get it to where everybody can agree.
That would be nice.
So-
And I agree, like, we do see some traffic between 5 and 6 on most of the Tuesdays we're open till 6. But again, there's a lot of things that people can complete online now.
Right.
And they don't need to come to town hall for everything. I know some people like to, but,
Yep.
yeah, I think it will be better if we're consistent with the 8 to 5, Monday
Right.
through Thursday. People will remember that, and hopefully you won't get as many phone calls and emails about Friday hours. Because
No.
James and I know, you know, after we're closed at 12:30, that door is constantly being pulled.
Oh, yeah.
People see that we're open Friday and they don't look at the time we close and they just expect us to be open.
No.
So I think this will help with the Friday traffic where we're closed all day. I agree, you know, 5 o'clock, we might be able to, you know, stay one night till 6.
No. Well, I don't have a problem with trying this, you know,
okay.
and seeing how it works out. Is, you know, it is the one thing I do get a lot of calls on, people are vocal about, is when they're displeased about the town hall being open. So I do get calls on that. I don't get calls on a lot of things that I would expect to get calls on. But so is all right. If there's no further discussion, do we have a motion to accept the hours as proposed?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second it.
All right, no further discussion, I'll go through the roll. Is Ed,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Noah,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have no quitclaim deeds.
Good night, everybody.
Wait Karen up. Is we're on to abatements and supplements. It took a little longer than we usual, Karen.
That's no problem. Whoops, here I am. Whoops.
Oop, yep, there you are.
Hi there. Good to see you here, everybody. And we just have a couple of abatements tonight and one tree growth penalty. The first one is a property, 95 Wentworth Road. This is a 97-acre parcel with a single-family home and a big farmhouse with a barn. And the current owner purchased the property in September, and he filed an abatement. And I did an inspection, and it was determined that the house had significant damage from a burst pipe back in January. And when I went there in October, you know, he had gutted the place, and it was very evident that it had been damaged, and there was some rot in the dwelling and so forth. So the condition of the property was not assessed as it should have been as of April 1st. Again, the property owner of September bought the property in September, so therefore we had to go to the property owner as of April 1st, who was Dale Boldick, and he has submitted to assessing a written consent for this abatement to go forward. He has consented for this abatement, which is important to have. So the result is that the assessed value was reduced by $79,700 from $491,400 to $411,700. Therefore, I'd recommend that an abatement be granted in the amount of $1,542.99.
What was the selling price on the house?
Selling price was $400 even. I think it was, 410.
So that brings it more in line with the selling price then.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And we'll recoup that value, and that the owner is in the process of rebuilding, remodeling the entire property. So either
he
next
is.
year or the year after, the value will be right back up there, if not higher, or certainly back up to where it's operating. Right now, it's not even habitable.
I would move we accept the abatement as presented.
Second it.
Have a motion and a second. No further discussion. I'll go through the roll. Is Ed?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes,
Noah?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. Thank you.
Jared, is that the house on Wentworth Road with the gravel pit out back? There's a dirt road to the left of the house?
Go down the dirt road, I think it's to the right. The dirt road's
Depends on which way you look.
to the
Yeah,
left of the
yeah,
house.
yes,
It is
Mark,
to the
it
left of
is.
the house,
Yeah, it goes out back to the gravel pit, okay.
It was the Wentworth homestead.
Yep.
So, okay, Karen, next.
The next abatement is for the property located at 410 Portland Street. This is a 9-acre mixed-use property consisting of a single-family dwelling and a commercial building that was 45% complete as of April 1st. An inspection of the site was completed, and an adjustment for the building features and outbuilding was made as a result. It was also determined that the land was overassessed as compared to other properties in this neighborhood. So we made the corrections so that it is assessed like other properties in this neighborhood, and as a result of these changes, the assessed value was reduced by $85,600 from $431,800 to $346,200. And therefore, it's recommended that an abatement be granted in the amount of $1,657.22.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Yep.
If not, I'll go through the roll. Is Ed?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
And myself is a yes.
Okay, and then finally, we have a tree growth penalty to assess. On January 19th, assessing received an email request from the principal owner, Les Bodwell. He's the principal owner for 193 Route 236 LLC. He requested that we remove all of the acreage currently classified as tree growth for the property. And I called Les Bodwell and I confirmed his email request. And so as a result of that, the classification for 21.57 acres classified as tree growth will now be assessed in accordance to market value. And a tree growth penalty must be assessed pursuant to the tree growth law. I included the tree growth penalty calculation details and how that's calculated. We simply looked at the difference between the just value at the time of withdrawal minus the assessed value when it's in tree growth. That difference is then multiplied by 20% because the property has been in tree growth for more than 20 years. And that amounts to the penalty of $8,780.
That the parcel that's going into solar?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, yes.
Now, do we go back in there and assess that parcel, that 21 acres, as a solar farm now?
Yes, we will be going there. They're in the process of building that and we'll be
Right.
assessing that, yes.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
No.
Move to accept recommendation.
Second it.
No further discussion. I'll go through the roll. Is Ed?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too, thank you.
All right, take care of that. We have no other public comment. We have no executive session.
You want to mention Lynn Shearer retiring, leaving?
Oh, go ahead.
You don't want to do it?
Is under other business, non-agenda items, is a couple different things. Is our assistant town clerk, Lynn Scherer, has put in her resignation. She is moving on. She's accepted a position as a city clerk someplace else, I believe.
City clerk, yep.
And when will be her last day, Steve?
February 3rd is her last day.
So, she's been with us for what,
8 years.
8 years now.
Yeah.
So she's been through thick and thin. She's been through some of the rough times and through some of the good times with us. So we'll be going to be missing her.
Yeah. A lot of years here.
So, is one other item I want to bring up is I asked Lisa Vargas to get me some figures on the street lights since we changed them to the LEDs. And it seems like since we've changed over all the street lights, we're saving about $2,000 a month on average with our bills. And so if we average that out, it looks like probably in about 3.5 years
Yeah.
we'll be able to pay that off, and then from then on, that money will be savings for us. So
It's a good deal.
hopefully we can get more things like that going. Any other business anybody wants to bring up?
Don't forget that we have a Spirit of America Award. We got to pick somebody
All
for
right,
it.
Spirit of America Award, yes.
Also, the dedication of the town report. Patty's been beating the drum on that one, so we'll talk more about that.
And just to remind everybody we're going to be starting our budget reviews next month. So we're going to do it the same as before, have our regular meeting and then
Yep.
have the budget meeting
We're going to
after.
try to keep things a little bit low.
Yeah. So starting on February 9th, the 16th, and the 23rd is we will be reviewing the budgets. So looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks
All right,
a lot.
thanks. Stay warm.
All right, thank you.
Good night.
Patty, I'll see you in the morning.